Okay, welcome to the first lecture of F7 Financial Reporting, right? Um, Today, basically, we look at these four areas, right? The syllabus, examination structure, our approach, how we'll go about with the syllabus, and the timeline, right? So let's just start with the syllabus first. Now, this is not exactly the syllabus. The syllabus is this is a the entire study guide that you have, right? But I would just like to go through with the standards that we'll be looking at in F7, right? So you have these topics: IS2, IS1, IS2, IS7, IS8, 10, 12, 16. You don't have 19 in F7, right? In FR, you don't have 19, you have 20, you have 21, you have 23, you don't have 24, and so on and so forth. So, for example, this is basically the guide that will tell you how much we've covered so far at any point in time. All right. So, these are all the stands. Obviously, right now, I can't tell you like exactly what these stands are. Obviously, we'll go topic by topic, right? We have financial instruments to some extent, right? We have earnings per share, impairment of assets, provisions. Provisions is a carry forward of F3. There's some new things in it, right? Intangible assets, IS 16, again a carry forward of F3, right? Some new things will be added to your FR course, right? You have investment property IS 40, you have IS 41 agriculture. IFRS 1 is not part of your syllabus. IFRS 2 is not part of your syllabus. IFRS 3, yes. 5, 7, and you don't have 8, you have 9 to some extent, right? 9 is a huge standard, but just a little bit of it is included in FR, right? You have IFRS 10, you don't have 11, you don't have 12, you have 13, 15, and 16. All right. Apart from this, you have the conceptual framework for financial reporting, which will be our first topic, okay, in the next class. Okay. So conceptual framework financial reporting number one, and there's one more topic that is included in the syllabus, which is interpretation of financial statements, right? Which is essentially known as ratio analysis, right? So this is basically the overall study guide, right? Overall structure of your F7 or FR paper. It's very important for you guys to know that in if you compare it with your FA, which is your financial accounting F3 studies, right? It's a bit different. In fact, there are topics, for example, in FA, you studied your bank reconciliation, you studied control accounts, you studied trial balance and errors, you studied, sales tax and stuff like this. It's entirely different as compared to this. What we're going to study in F7 is entirely different from what we studied in F3, right? So you just have, yes, in F3 you studied some basic standards, right? But that is in FR will be extended to a to a significant extent, right? So what you have to understand is the studies that we'll do in FR will revolve around your accounting standards, right? Obviously, I will tell you the basis of how these standards came into existence in the first place. Why do we need standards, and or what is the criteria according to which some standards, or in fact all of the standards, come into existence, right? So we have some basic criteria which are discussed in the conceptual framework financial reporting. All right. So that's basically the overall syllabus. Obviously, I don't, and I never go into, I never go deep into the syllabus or study guide in the very first class, because we will cater it step by step. Okay. So it's very, I would say it's wrong to dive into the syllabus, to dive into this deep study guide right now, because obviously it does not make sense. Okay. Next thing, which is very important for you to know at this very stage, is the examination structure. Okay. Before I move on to the examination structure, I would like to discuss how we'll go about it, right? And this is the approach that I follow in all the papers that I teach. We will do a topic. Topic basically in this case is a standard, right? So we will do a topic, and after that we will do its kit, right? Section A, section B, we'll do the kit part of those particular standards, and then we'll move on to the next standard, right? For example, the first topic would be conceptual framework, right? We'll do the kit on the conceptual framework topic, and then we'll move on to the next standards. Okay, so that's how we'll go about it. Reason being, I never leave practice for the end of the course, right? I want students to practice along with, or just after they've studied a particular topic, right? Yes, I will leave out some questions, so it will be like a mix of three. Some of the questions we'll do in class, some of the questions I'll give you as homework so that you do it right after the class, or let's say within the same week, right? And I'll leave out some questions for you guys to do at the time of your revision, but that will consist of only important topics, right? Topics that are more important as compared to other topics, right? So, for example, financial instruments is a technical topic, so I'll leave out one or two questions on financial instruments for you to do at the time of revision before the paper, that is. All right. Apart from this, I'll make you do all the questions, which will, like I said, in some in the class and some as your homework. All right. So by the end of the course, we'll be done with the entire kit, basically, I would say. All right. So it's like, one step at a time. Second thing, for me, it's very important that, I take surprise quizzes in F7 and in audit, right? Why? Let me tell you, because it requires significant amount of learning. Memorize, you need to memorize a lot of stuff in this, and not just memorize, you need to have the conceptual or the logical reasoning behind it. Whatever application you're doing, or for a particular financial reporting transaction, you need to have a particular understanding, a particular logic behind it, right? So in order to test that logic, right, for example, let's say we're studying IS 16, right? And we're done with IS 8, IS 10, IS 1, IS 2. I'll randomly ask you guys about IS 2 or IS 10 or IS 8. Reason being, I would want, it's very important for me that you revise while you're studying, rather than you keep everything for the end and then you burden yourself. And ultimately, it's not just a burden on you, it's a burden on me as well. Okay, it becomes a burden for me as well. All right. So, what you have to understand in this case is practice and revision both will be done once we're done with the topic. Okay, so they will go hand in hand. All right. As for this, as for the topics are concerned, we'll do it, or I'll give you the notes through Excel or through Word or through this document, right, that I'm writing. It depends on the standard we're doing. So for example, if there's a standard which is very simple, I have the notes made on Excel, right? I'll show you the Excel sheet, right? And you can copy it down, or you can wait for it for the classroom, and I'll send you the Excel sheet on the group, and you can have the notes in front of you, right? This, for the topics that are much more difficult, for example, I would say IFRS 9, stuff like this, right? I will be teaching you over this screen, right? Where I'll be writing down some examples for you guys, and then you can easily copy it down, or you can take snapshots and you can copy it down later on. Okay. The kit practice will be done entirely through Word and Excel, mainly Excel. All right. Kit practice will be done mainly through Excel. All right. So you need to be very vigilant about that. You cannot, for me, for me, the pen and paper has become obsolete now. All right. So if you're using a pen and paper to practice and you're sending in your answers to me, I won't check it, please. All right. I seriously won't check it. If you want your answers to get checked, you need to do it on Excel. All right. And I'll show you how to do it. Obviously, I'm not saying that I'll give you the very first question to do it on Excel. I'll show you how to present your answer on Microsoft Excel by, through using spreadsheets. Okay. Now, examination structure. How does the examiner assess you for the knowledge that you have in the, or you've gained during the your course, right? So examination structure, you have section A, section B, and section A, three sections, right? Section A, you have 15 objective test questions, OTQs, All right, 15 objective test questions, which are worth, each question is worth 2 marks. So that makes it 30 for section A, right? Section B, you have 3 objective case questions. You have longer cases. And from one case, from each case, you get at least 5 OTQs, right? 5 MCQs, I would say, right? And each are worth 2 marks, obviously. Okay, so that makes it another 30, right? And section C, you have 2 constructive response questions. That means the larger questions, each question is worth 20 marks. That makes it 40, right? Examiner tells us that section C, all right, will come from 3 topics. All right, number 1, preparation of single entity FS. Number 2, preparation of group FS, which is your consolidation, right? And number 3, interpretation of financial statements. Now, that interpretation could be based on single entity, could be based on group, could be based on comparators, it could be anything, right? So, these are 3 topics that could be tested in your section C. In section A and B, you can be tested on anything, including these 3 topics. All right. So there's no specifics for section A and section B, but yes, section C, you have some specifics, 3 topics. You will be tested amongst these 3 topics only. But obviously, within preparation of single entity FS, you have, you have your cash flows, you have your SOCI, you have your SOCI, you have your SOFP, right? So there's a lot to study. Okay. So, we need to be very systematic about it. Okay. Now, last thing that I would like to discuss before I take your questions is a timeline. All right. I intend to finish the course by 24th February. Right. So 24th Feb. After 24th Feb, from 25th Feb onwards, right, I'll keep a 3-day revision course, right? 25th, 26th, and 27th, or probably 26th, 27th, and 28th, right? I'll keep a 3-day revision course, all right? And that's obviously something that you need to consider at a later stage. But you need to have this in your mind that if you're focusing on a 3-day course and you're not focusing during these entire 2 months, you're not going to pass. Okay. You need to be very focused during these 2 months. The last 3 days, the revision course is just for you to revise your basic concepts, right? Not the technical ones, because technical, at this time, you should know your technical concepts, right? Just your basic concepts need to be revised again, right? So I'll focus on the basic concepts in this case, and some technical topics as well. I'll revise some technical topics as well. Okay. So 24th Feb is what I feel we will easily finish the course. We have 3 classes in a week, right? If I feel, let's say, we're lacking behind, I have a schedule for the entire attempt. Uh, if I feel that we need more classes, we need extra classes, I'll put in some extra hours, right? Or what I'll do is I won't burden you guys. I'll send you one recorded lecture per week. Okay, so 3 live lectures, 1 record lecture. In case you miss a live lecture, you will get it. You'll get its recording. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. All right. I guess I want what I want to discuss today. I've done that. If you guys have any questions, you can ask me. Do you guys have any questions? You can unmute yourself and ask me.